You probably remember the story of Ashton Kutcher collapsing just weeks before filming began. He had switched to Steve Jobs' strict fruitarian diet and ended up hospitalized with pancreatitis. Doctors described his pancreas as overwhelmed, inflamed, and dangerously close to shutting down completely. But here is the unsettling question that follows every viewer who hears this story. How can something packed with vitamins, antioxidants, and sunlight energy become toxic inside a human body? Most people assume fruit is always safe because it comes wrapped in nature's innocent sweetness. But the truth, revealed by nutrition scientists at Harvard and Stanford, is far less comforting. The fruit you eat today is not the fruit your ancestors once picked from wild branches. Ancient fruits were small, fibrous, slightly bitter, and contained only modest amounts of natural sugar. Modern fruits, however, have been selectively bred for size, color, and explosive sweetness far beyond nature. This selective amplification creates what researchers call the modern fruit paradox, a quiet nutritional deception. You believe you are eating nature, yet you are consuming human-designed biological sugar bombs daily. And this is where the real twist emerges, especially if you spend 7 full days eating only fruit. You are not following an ancestral diet. You are submitting your metabolism to a laboratory creation. Fruits in supermarkets hold up to 10 times more sugar and far less fiber than wild varieties. This imbalance forces your liver to handle sugar loads it was never evolutionarily prepared to manage. Your body recognizes glucose easily, but fructose behaves like a disguised intruder slipping past normal controls. The National Institutes of Health describes fructose as uniquely stressful for the liver compared to other sugars. Unlike glucose, fructose cannot be used by your muscles, your brain, or your organs for fuel. Only the liver can metabolize it, turning every bite of fruit into a direct metabolic confrontation. And during a 7-day fruit-only diet, the liver becomes the battlefield where everything quietly unfolds. But this unfolding is not gentle, natural, or cleansing the way popular wellness trends often promise. It is a biochemical storm that modern nutrition research warns most people never see coming at all. And if you stay with this journey, you will finally understand how fructose hacks your survival circuitry, because in the next minutes, you will follow fructose molecule by molecule as it rewires your biology. Every fruit you eat on this 7-day experiment sends an immediate surge of fructose downstream. Your bloodstream carries that fructose like a quiet caravan, moving toward one destination only. Unlike glucose, fructose cannot be burned by your muscles, your brain, or your heart. Only your liver can process it, making fructose the most demanding sugar your body encounters. Researchers at the Mayo Clinic describe this as a metabolic bottleneck, with serious long-term implications. Every gram of fructose is routed to hepatocytes, the liver cells responsible for energy conversion. But these cells have limits, and modern fruit pushes them far beyond anything evolution predicted. Imagine every piece of fruit creating a traffic jam inside your liver's mitochondrial highways. Mitochondria attempt to oxidize fructose, but the volume overwhelms their narrow biochemical capacity. When the system overloads, fructose cannot be safely processed into usable cellular fuel. So your liver activates a backup protocol called de novo lipogenesis to protect surrounding tissue. This process converts excess fructose directly into fat, regardless of your current body weight. Stanford metabolic researchers have documented this conversion happening within mere hours of high fructose intake. The result is a rapid buildup of triglycerides inside liver cells, the first step toward fatty liver. You may believe fatty liver comes from alcohol, but this mechanism mirrors alcohol metabolism closely. Fructose and ethanol both bypass normal metabolic checkpoints and flood the liver with unregulated substrates. Both substances increase oxidative stress, generate reactive oxygen species, and accelerate mitochondrial dysfunction. The key difference is that fructose does this silently, without intoxication to warn you. This silence is why some scientists call fructose the stealth alcohol of modern nutrition. And during a 7-day fruit-only diet, your liver becomes a biochemical landfill for sugar residue. Fat droplets accumulate, inflammatory pathways activate, and metabolic pressure rises with every meal. You may still feel healthy because fruit tastes light, refreshing, and deceptively harmless. But microscopes tell a very different story, one your liver cannot escape during this challenge. Fructose also depletes intracellular ATP rapidly, draining your cells of the energy required for repair. As ATP falls, uric acid rises, creating a secondary biochemical burden with significant consequences. This burden sets the stage for the next twist, a surprising link between fruit and ancient survival. Because what happens next explains why your blood pressure shifts and your joints begin aching. Before we continue, if you've been enjoying this video so far, leave a comment with 1 so I know this content is valuable to you, and so we can keep creating meaningful videos that you won't want to miss. Your body senses the sudden drop in ATP from fructose overload long before you consciously feel it. Inside your liver, this energy crash triggers an ancient biochemical alarm encoded in human evolution. The alarm is uric acid, a metabolic byproduct that rises sharply whenever fructose enters the system. Most people associate uric acid with red meat, alcohol, or a heavy protein-rich lifestyle. But researchers at the University of Colorado discovered fructose can raise uric acid even more dramatically. This finding shocked many clinicians because it contradicted decades of conventional dietary assumptions. When uric acid rises, your body interprets it as a sign that famine might be approaching. This interpretation activates what evolutionary biologists refer to as the survival switch. The survival switch is a deeply programmed response designed to help ancient humans store energy quickly. Our ancestors relied on fruit in late summer to prepare for the cold scarcity of winter. Fructose consumption signaled them to gain fat, raise blood pressure, and conserve energy immediately. In that environment, higher uric acid increased survival by helping the body store calories efficiently. But in your 7-day fruit experiment, there is no approaching winter and no real threat of famine. Your body still activates the same ancient program, but now it becomes metabolically dysfunctional. Uric acid blocks nitric oxide, the molecule responsible for relaxing blood vessels and regulating pressure. Without nitric oxide, your arteries constrict subtly, raising blood pressure throughout the 7 days. This rise might feel like mild headaches, fatigue, or an unusual sense of internal tension. Meanwhile, inflammatory compounds accumulate around your joints as uric acid continues climbing higher. This buildup can mimic early gout symptoms, even though meat has played no role in your diet. This paradox is one of the most important metabolic insights modern nutrition science has revealed. Fructose is not just sugar, it is a signal telling your body to prepare for biological crisis. And during this 7-day challenge, that crisis mode never turns off because fruit arrives constantly. Each meal reinforces the evolutionary lie that winter is coming and you must gain energy now. This is the twist most people never expect, especially those who view fruit as purely harmless. But this twist is only the beginning, because metabolic strain does not stop at the bloodstream. Your muscles are the first to notice the absence of protein long before you consciously realize it. Without amino acids arriving through meals, your body must find another source to keep your brain alive. So, it begins breaking down your own muscle tissue to extract fuel through gluconeogenesis. You may see the number on the scale drop, but that drop carries a deceptive message. Are you losing fat, or are you quietly dismantling the very engine that burns fat for you? Most people never ask this question, even though it determines whether weight loss is real or illusion. During a fruit-only week, the illusion dominates because muscle loss becomes the fastest available fuel. This is why athletes interviewed by Stanford's Human Performance Lab warn about extended low-protein diets. Their warning is simple, clear, and relevant to you right now, even if you are not an athlete. If your muscle mass declines, your metabolic rate follows, and fat burning slows dramatically. Have you ever felt weaker after a healthy detox, even though you expected more energy instead? That weakness is not detox. It is your body consuming its own strength to keep your brain functional. And this is only the first domino falling. Because hormonal confusion soon follows with shocking speed. Fructose does not activate leptin, the hormone your brain uses to recognize fullness. So, even with your stomach stretched and packed with fruit, your brain keeps asking for more food. Have you ever eaten a bowl of grapes and felt hungrier afterward than before you started? That sensation is not in your imagination. It is a documented metabolic response seen repeatedly in research. Fructose also fails to suppress ghrelin, the hormone responsible for initiating hunger signals. So, you are trapped in a loop where your belly feels full, but your brain feels unfed. This disconnect creates what many nutrition scientists call perpetual hunger, a state of ongoing craving. And cravings only intensify because your blood sugar rises and falls with dramatic fluctuations. Even though fructose has a low glycemic index, its enormous sugar load creates unstable energy swings. Have you ever felt alert for 10 minutes after fruit, then exhausted shortly afterward? That exhaustion is the moment your brain enters energy deficit, despite all the sugar you consumed. Meanwhile, your neurons struggle because they lack the essential fats needed to stabilize their membranes. Brain fog, irritability, and poor focus gradually appear, catching many people completely off guard. These changes may seem subtle at first, but they are building towards something deeper and more disruptive. Your gut is the next battlefield, hit by the sugar surge your liver struggled to contain earlier. When excess fructose escapes absorption, it travels downward into the dark, crowded streets of your colon. There, millions of sugar-loving bacteria celebrate your fruit-only experiment like an endless festival. But festivals have consequences, and this one begins with rapid fermentation and swollen intestinal walls. Have you ever felt bloated after eating something light and wondered why it felt so heavy? That bloating is carbon dioxide and hydrogen gas produced by microbes feasting on leftover fructose. Researchers from Johns Hopkins link this process to SIBO, the overgrowth of bacteria creeping up the small intestine. SIBO does not stay quiet. It brings cramping, pressure, fullness, and unpredictable digestive swings. And here is a question you should ask yourself honestly right now. Has fruit ever made you feel gassy in a way vegetables never do? If yes, it is because fiber alone is not the problem. The sugar-fiber combination is. Sugar-loving bacteria grow aggressively, wiping out beneficial species that normally protect your gut barrier. As beneficial strains decline, your microbiome drifts toward dysbiosis, a state linked to inflammation and mood shifts. Some studies even show that fructose-fed animals develop more anxiety-like behavior due to altered gut signaling. But the rebellion does not end inside your abdomen. Because another vulnerable structure is already under attack, your teeth begin dissolving slowly under the constant acidity produced by fruit and fermentation. Fruits rich in citric and malic acid lower your mouth's pH below the safe mineralization threshold. When pH drops below 5.5, enamel begins to demineralize, losing calcium and phosphate silently. Have you ever felt your teeth become sensitive after citrus or dried fruit snacks? Dentists at the University of Melbourne consider fruit grazing one of the fastest ways to erode enamel. The danger grows when you snack throughout the day because your saliva never gets time to neutralize acids. So your enamel melts microscopically, hour after hour, while you believe you are eating clean. This slow erosion does not cause pain at first, which is why most people overlook the warning signs. But once enamel thins enough, sensitivity, sharp zings, and permanent rough patches appear almost suddenly. And all of this happens during a diet many people mistakenly think strengthens immunity and boosts wellness. You began this journey asking one simple question that quietly hides inside the title of this video. What truly happens to your body when you eat only fruit for 7 full days? Now you have seen each system respond honestly, without filters, trends, or wellness illusions. Your liver faced a biochemical overload that mirrored the stress seen in chronic alcohol metabolism. Your muscles were dismantled piece by piece as your body searched desperately for protein and nitrogen. Your hunger hormones slipped out of balance, leaving your stomach full, but your brain starving for fuel. Your microbiome erupted into chaos as sugar-fed colonies pushed beneficial species into retreat. Your teeth endured constant acidity, losing precious minerals while you believed you were detoxing. So the value of this video is not fear, but clarity, because clarity is the first step toward control. You now understand that fruit is not the villain, but the context determines whether it becomes destructive. Nature designed fruit to be seasonal, scarce, and balanced by proteins, fats, and complex fiber sources. Modern life removed that balance, leaving you surrounded by sweetness without any evolutionary guardrails. But this is also where your power begins, because knowledge lets you reclaim what biology forgot to warn you about. You can still enjoy fruit, but you must treat it as a tool rather than a limitless food group. Start your meals with vegetables, proteins, and healthy fats before touching anything sweet at all. By doing this, you lower glucose spikes, slow absorption, and protect your liver from a sudden fructose surge. You can also time fruit before exercise, when your muscles are primed to burn sugar immediately. Have you ever wondered why athletes eat bananas right before training instead of after meals? It is because timing determines whether fructose becomes fuel or becomes fat stored in your liver. You can also choose berries over tropical fruits, because they deliver nutrients with far less metabolic stress. And if you have ever thought about doing a fruit-only detox, you now know exactly what happens inside you. You will not make decisions based on trends again, because your biology finally makes sense to you. This was the promise of the title, and now it has been delivered through science, evolution, and clarity. And if you want to explore another extreme experiment, comment 2, and I will compare fruit versus carnivore. Hope this video brings value to you, and see you in the next videos.